Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a slightly overdue November Happies catch up. November, what happened in November? Loads of stuff happened. Some crazy, some difficult to cope with, some fantastic. It was ups and downs all the way through November. So I'm going to start with the kids now. Poppy, my middle daughter, is currently looking at applying for sixth forms for next September. So we've been doing all the open evenings. So November had a lot of evening appointments, but I'm talking about it on the channel because oh boy did it fill me with gratitude. Where I live, some of the sixth forms, we looked around because it was just pure magic. We went to a number of sixth forms in Stratford upon Avon, the birthplace of Shakespeare, which is not far from here. It's far enough for a bus ride to sixth form. And two of the sixth forms we looked around, it was like stepping back in history. The one, we were being shown around the school grounds, and the student showing us around suddenly said, oh, by the way, this used to be the original Stratford Town Square, and this building here upstairs was Shakespeare's classroom, because this is the school where Shakespeare came to school. He then went and got a key that, I'm not kidding you, was this big, to open the chapel, the school chapel, for us to look around, which had a doomsday painting on the wall, which Shakespeare's dad had covered up to protect it from Henry VIII ripping it off the wall. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. The chapel, the buildings, the whole atmosphere of the place was incredible. On another evening, on a very wet November evening, we went to another Stratford school to look at the sixth form, and they had a manor house as part of the school that is dedicated solely to the sixth form. As we were being shown around the manor house by another student, she said, oh, by the way, that balcony outside the window, it's the balcony that inspired Shakespeare to write Romeo and Juliet. I mean, mind blown. So we had a fantastic time. It was lovely having one-on-one time just with Poppy. She's so busy with all her revising in the middle of her GCSE mocks that I don't get to see her that often. She's in a bedroom busy working. So some evenings in November spent with my middle daughter, my gorgeous Poppy, was just wonderful. In fact, it's been so busy with all these additional things to sort out that I hadn't even shut the caravan down. The caravan season is from March till the end of October. It got to November and I still hadn't closed the caravan down, so I had to go up for a weekend to Wales to close all the caravan down, which always pulls at my heartstrings. This time a good friend of mine, she came with me. We took the dogs walking through all the Forestry Commission land that I love so much. She's never walked it before and she loved it too. You could tell it had been raining a lot because some of the glades were a lot more full of water, and oh, it was just lovely. The dogs loved it, we loved it. It was quite a busy weekend because it was full of jobs as well, but it was just lovely to get back to Wales one last time before we said goodbye for the winter time. And of course, guess who else was joyous to be up here in Wales again one last time? Yeah, my dogs. They just love being up here so much, and just all the freedom that it brings for them. I just feel like this landscape is just full of magic and whispering voices. This is the place where I did my tarot reading walk a few videos back, and there's the sentinel tree again. My friend reacted to this tree the same way as I did. She was blown away by it. And we saw, look, mushrooms growing up out of trees. If anybody knows what these are, let me know. And then mushrooms in the grass as well. Oh gosh, it was just so fantastic. You can see by the waterfall the amount of rain we've been having. It was not just a trickle anymore. It was really gushing water, but magical, just so wonderful. My friend I walk with, she loves water. She reacts really strongly to water. I always try and find walks for her that aren't just woodlands. It's woodlands with water, because I know she'll love it. The dogs are just so brave. You all know that Rupert is a water baby as well. They were in and out of the streams and just full of joy to be back. This is quite a long walk actually. This is towards the end. Now I was quite scared about them going down here because look how strong the water was, and yet down they went, both in, completely fine, wondering why I was panicking. Back home then at the start of November, after I'd shut the caravan down, we started a new school week, and I went to reverse my car out of the drive, and the kids said, "You're in the hedge, Mum." I pulled forward, tried again, I was in the hedge again. I couldn't understand what I was doing until I got out the car to see what on earth was going on, and realised that overnight the huge 15-foot hedges that I've got surrounding my driveway had started to collapse, and I actually couldn't get out of the drive because of the collapsed hedge. In fact, I had to, because I'd got all the kids in the car waiting to get to school, so I forced my car through the hanging hedge, got them to school. When I returned home, the hedge had had a second collapse, so it's got worse. It actually fell completely and onto the pavement. This is what, look at my hands, this is what I've cleared so far. I've been panicking and trying to clear the pavement because you couldn't get past at one point. So that is it from this side. Oh my god. So I'm trying not to look too far ahead, and I'm trying to just do a bit at a time. Oh my god. Okay, let's carry on. That's all I've got. Look, I'm in my ripped trainers. And then followed a day where I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my whole life. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I don't shirk from some hard work. But I have never, ever worked so hard to clear that damn hedge with just a pair of big snips off the pavement. I was so scared that somebody was going to walk into it or trip on something, so it just had to be cleared. I literally started clearing that first hedge at about 9 in the morning. I was still out there in the pitch black at about 4:30. There were 20 building sacks full. I can only fit 3 at a time on my 7-seater car, so it was backwards and forwards to the tip all day. Thank goodness the men down the tip know me and they always come and help, but oh my gosh, that day of work broke me. And I say the first hedge because then a second hedge started to collapse. What has happened is the hedges have got so tall, and I am so scared of heights to go up a ladder, that I'd undercut them. I'd kept undercutting them, and then one windy night the undercut and the weight of the top of the hedge just brought them all crashing down. At that point I called my dear friend Jez, and he said, yeah, I'll come over for half a day with a chainsaw. He helped me just cut them all down. The front hedge was as tall as the lamppost, and at one point a tree collapsed onto the road and we had to drag it off the road, and it's a busy road as you can hear. So the hedges, oh my gosh, the front drive is still wrecked. I did another solid day clearing enough just to get my car back on the drive again. Then I've stopped because I've had Christmas things to do, and so it's ongoing. The front garden is a disaster zone, but it's ongoing. It's been fun though, because it needed doing and it was weighing on my mind. Now it's wrecked, but at least the job is started and everything is ground level now, so at least I can get to it. So as if that wasn't enough foliage, of course I've been walking in the woods again here. They are muddy now and they have a whole different atmosphere because the leaves are starting to fall. Well, the leaves have fallen. It's muddy, it's more open, it's less secretive. I did something different in November in the woods. I decided to start trying to develop my sense of smell. I don't think I've got a very good sense of smell, and as part of my witchcraft walk I decided to start developing my sense of smell. It all came about with, I read somewhere a phrase about the smell of the woods, and I thought to myself, what do the woods smell like? So the next time I was walking in the woods, I stopped to take a big sniff, and all I could smell was cold, which isn't really a smell, it's a feeling. It just felt cold. It's cold here now in the UK. So I couldn't smell anything. I just had this feeling of cold, and that made me really want to work on my sense of smell. So all through November I have been walking in the woods, sniffing the air. I know that sounds odd, sniffing trees, sniffing bushes, seeing if I can decipher a smell anywhere beyond the feeling of cold. And it's taken me all month, and at the end of the month I started at the end of the breath in getting a whiff of different things, and it has excited me so much. The smell for me comes in at the end of a big intake of breath. The first feeling is just cold. It's at the very tail end that the smell comes in for me. I don't know if that's normal, I don't know if it's abnormal, but that's what I've discovered by focusing on it. And I had a couple of amazing wins doing this. The one day I was on a path right in the middle of the woods, and I stopped and smelled, and I got a whiff of mushrooms. And I thought there were mushrooms here somewhere. It was a tiny minuscule hint of the smell. So I walked off the path, pushed through the undergrowth into a clearing, and there in the clearing was a big tree, and around the far side of it, when I walked round, it was covered in wild mushrooms, and the smell was so strong. When I got right down to the tree, I was blown away. I did a happy dance. The dogs wondered what the hell I was doing. Why was I dancing around a tree? Why had I gone off the path to start with? But it was like a sort of sensory celebration. Recently, in the last few walks I've done, I'm also picking up the scent of different trees and mud as well, and earth. And I think recently I'm also starting to pick up the scent of animals, where I thought, oh my gosh, what is that smell? The dogs have started fussing in undergrowth. So my sense of smell, we've been on a mission, me and my sense of smell, in November, and it's been really fun. Of course, away from the woods, Christmas is in the air, and I took the kids one weekend to a local garden centre by us that always does the most beautiful Christmas decoration display. It's like a wonderland there, and they build a whole world of all the little miniature houses. So that was wonderful. They had singing reindeers that Tilly pushed the buttons for and made them all sing. It was just really lovely to get in the Christmas spirit. And then I've been going as well all through November up to my local shopping centre doing Christmas present shopping. That's all been taking time, but it's not the only celebration that's been going on, because November is my birthday month. November the 23rd was my birthday. Oh my gosh. And I won't lie to you, I felt a bit down coming up to my birthday. I just felt again that I might be forgotten. There's this feeling that I'm going to be forgotten on my birthday, because I always have been. I know the kids had asked their dad to get, if they could get me birthday presents, and he'd refused. So I went and got my own presents for the kids to give me, because I knew they'd be upset otherwise. Just that feeling of nobody being bothered. So I woke up on my birthday morning down, actually really down. But I need to remind myself that I'm not there anymore, because I actually had the most precious, marvellous day. Feeling really down, I went straight into the school run with all the kids, getting them ready for school. Early morning I was waiting for Tilly's taxi to arrive on the driveway by the front door. I opened the front door, and there on the floor in front of me was a parcel from one of you lovely guys. Oh my goodness me. So this was a parcel from the lovely Angie. It came at such an amazing moment because I was fighting back tears, feeling really unloved really and unseen. But I opened the door and there was this parcel, and when I opened it there was the most gorgeous message from Angie. And oh my gosh, you wait till you see this. In the parcel there were 2 Frida Kahlo prints from an Etsy shop that she'd ordered for me. I mean, look, Frida with a doll, could it be any more perfect? And look at this one, Frida spinning in her skirts. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't even describe it. And then there are these wonderful little mini artworks as well. I'm going to get frames for all of them. The shop is this one. It's My Pink Turtle Art by Lulu. I'll see if I can link it down below. But honestly, I was just so blown away. I loved it so much and I cried. I didn't just do a little cry. I did a big ploppy tears, boo-hooing out loud cry, because there was something there on my birthday that I hadn't bought myself, and it was just so amazing. And I cried so hard. The kids going, please mum, stop crying, otherwise you'll make us cry too. That's how hard I cried because I loved it so much. So Angie, you have no idea how wonderful that was. It was immediately followed by taking the kids out to the car and Busby smashing his phone in the car door. A complete fluke accident. It slipped out of his coat pocket just as he slammed the door. He was so horrified. My kids look after their stuff so carefully, and they know that stuff isn't easy to come by. There's not oodles of money, and he was devastated. So I actually spent most of my birthday up in town sorting out a new phone for Busby, which he was thrilled about when he got back from school. But before the town visit, I also had a phone call from my dear friend Shannon, who I've met through YouTube. It was just so lovely to hear her voice and to chat. And later on in the day, another parcel came through the door from Shannon. There was a lovely back massager, which is in my doll room. There was a book in there, Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah, an inspirational classic of profound and enduring wisdom. So that's going to be exciting to read. Oh, I've just spotted there, that's the shop that the Frida Kahlo prints came from. But also in Shannon's parcel came this, a screaming goat, and it is just that, no explanation, it's just a screaming goat. Oh my gosh. Sometimes when life gets me a little bit overwhelmed, I come up to my bedroom and I just do this. Fantastic. I loved it. It made me laugh out loud. It really did. I also got the most beautiful card and the promise of an adventure from my sister, one of my sisters of choice. So that was wonderful, and we are going to go on another adventure soon, so that will be fun. Then my other sister Cheryl came round for a day on the following Saturday, and she brought me another Frida gift, this time the most gorgeous little Frida fairy with leaf skeleton wings, and I've hung her up in my sort of fairy forest of lights downstairs on the altar. Also, Cheryl had another parcel for me, which was incredible. She said, I hope that you like it. You might not like it, but I hope that you do. And unbeknown to her, she'd bought a Monster High doll, which was the one Monster High doll that I was trying to get. Look at this. Now this is from the range of Monster High dolls where they combined some of the monsters, and because I'm a Sagittarius and my friend Cheryl is, she said it was the most Sagittarius doll that she could find. Isn't it lovely? And all the bits are there, all the bits on the legs, her wings are there, her hat's there. Look at the gloves. It's just the most magical Monster High doll. And when I opened it and realised that this was the present, I said, I just can't believe it, because this is the doll I've been trying to get. So that was wonderful. We had a wonderful breakfast together, and just to catch up, and that was glorious. Also through the post, but not necessarily for my birthday, although I'm classing it as a birthday gift, I got a wonderful surprise from the wonderful Drea Bloom Tarot, who has written books under the name Andi Matzner. I already had Journaling the Tarot, which is downstairs, I think, and I'd been working through, or starting to work through, this book of theirs, Tarot for Transformation. It's a great big book. I'm currently doing some of the journaling exercises. This is actually a goal for next year to work through this, but I'm getting a month's head start on it. So I was currently working through this. I'm going to be sharing some of these hopefully next year. But I had the most wonderful message from Drea, and they asked if they could send me some more books if I wanted them. Now, I'd already got the two, so they very kindly sent me Journaling the Tarot Evolutions, another huge book. So I'm classing this as a birthday present too, because what a treat. And the Buddha Diet, because hey, any support with me at the moment with food and dieting and getting a healthy relationship back with food is perfect. So I can't wait to read these. So hopefully next year I can bring you some information about this work, and having worked through it, it's definitely a goal for the end of the year and the coming year for me. So Drea, thank you so much. That meant the world. So what did I buy for myself that Poppy chose to wrap up for me? Like I said, I bought 6 things for myself. I bought a couple of one second-hand doll, one Shadow Hide doll, and one Barbie Extra doll. Those 3 dolls were extra because the doll room only opened recently, and my love of collecting dolls has only recently come back. What I'd planned in No Buy Year to buy for myself was 3 decks, one for each of the kids to wrap for me. Now, I have a little thing with myself where, to prove to myself that I'm worth it, if I want an indie deck, I can say yes in the year, but I can only say yes if it's my birthday or Christmas, because indie decks are quite expensive for the budget that I have, and I love mass market decks. So I really wanted a indie deck, so I'd ordered that at the beginning of my No Buy Year to put aside for my birthday. So I'd got one indie deck, I'd got a little playing card deck as well, and a mass market deck that I picked up second hand. So I'd got the 3 decks ready, and then the additional 3 dolls. When I presented the pile of 6 things to my daughter to wrap, I got completely overwhelmed, even though I've had virtually nothing all year. I mean, I have found my unicorn deck, the I Ching of the Goddess Oracle, which I bought. But apart from that, there's been nothing coming in. But even so, I still felt overwhelmed. I think you can take the girl out of the No Buy Year, but you can't take the No Buy Year out of the girl. It's changed me. I looked at the pile of 6 things and I thought, I can't face opening all of those in one go, and I'm not going to get to them all. And I've got my Deviant Moon out and I'm working with that, and I want to work with my I Ching Oracle. And I got overwhelmed with just 6 things. Isn't that different? So I eventually said to Poppy, can you just choose one thing and surprise me, and we'll box the rest away for, say, Christmas? She actually chose 2 things. She said she couldn't not choose a doll as well as a deck. So she chose a doll, 1 doll and 1 deck. And that's what I had of the kids for my birthday, and it was just so lovely. So I'm going to share those with you now. First, the doll, and she's still not unboxed. She's still in box because I've got other dolls that it's really slowed down my purchasing No Buy year. I want to savour it. It's put the need to savour things into the mix that wasn't there before. There was just a need to keep getting before, which was never satiated. This time, now I've gone back to buying, it's like, well, will I have enough mental space to savour it? That's what's coming after No Buy. So it's been really interesting. But look at her now. This is Heather. She is from the Shadow High range of dolls. You might have heard of Rainbow High. Rainbow High is where all the colourful dolls go to school. Shadow High is the art variant of the school, where all of these sort of more monotone grey, silver, black and white dolls go to school. This is the first line of Shadow High dolls. So they released 6 dolls at the end of this year, and all of them were stunning, but Heather was my absolute favourite. You can see she comes with a second outfit here. I'm going to unbox her on my doll channel. And I love her. I just think she's just so beautiful. Look, she's got the split dye hair. Yeah, so I really wanted one of this first line. In fact, I didn't want one of them. I wanted them all, but I ended up waiting for the sale and choosing my one favourite doll. And I think that's just lovely to do, just to slow it all down. I'm going to really love and savour Heather once she's opened. So that was my doll. Now the deck that I got is a real interesting one. Poppy didn't choose to wrap the indie deck up. She chose the mass market one. Now this is the Nature Spirit Tarot by Jean Marie Herzl. And it just looks fascinating. I saw this first. I think I saw it first on Lisa Pepez's channel. I think. But I'm not sure. So if it was your channel that I saw it on and not Lisa's, let me know and I'll link you below. But I'm certain I saw this first on Lisa's channel. These are the backs on these cards. I have flipped through these once, but I loved these because they combine things that I'm interested in working with my spiritual walk, and things that I'm going to focus on in 2023. So I want to focus on flowers and flower essences. I want to focus on the witchcraft around plants and learning about that, and animals, so the natural world, so green witchery, foraging as well, that sort of thing, using pressed flowers in my art, all of that sort of thing. And these cards are just full of all of those type of aspects. You've got plants in them, you've got animals, some of them have crystals or stones in them. Yes, the artwork is kind of a little bit odd, I kind of get that, but the cards are actually ram-packed with things that I do want to study. So if I show you the book, now the book is, I think it's about 183 page book. It's got colour renditions of the cards throughout, but it's the book really, as well as the deck, that I thought I must get that deck. The book just looks amazing. So you've got the meaning of the card here, but then you've got all the information about the animal and the correspondences with the animal. You've got all of the information around any plants or flowers that are on the card, any information about crystals as well. So on the Ace of Pentacles card, you've got the painted turtle, the trumpet daffodil and obsidian, and you've got all the information, the correspondences and the witchiness of all of those different elements. And look at the 10 of Cups. Oh, the 10 of Cups just sold it for me. So on the 10 of Cups, you've got the bearded iris and the trumpeter swan. So I just thought it looked like a fascinating deck. There's loads of birds in there as well, which I love. But look at, they're absolutely rammed full of different symbolism and just so much to study in this one deck alone. So I really am interested in doing a study with this deck and the books that fit in around this deck in 23. And because I've only got this deck, and say this deck, no, the I Ching system is something I really want to focus on as well, I'm not overwhelmed and I can savour and delight in these things. So that was my birthday haul. It just sums up what a no buy year can do for you. I went from loving loads of piles of things to two things felt overwhelming, two things when I've not had a present of myself for like a whole year. Amazing really that would be the change around. Right, now I need to be quick because I'm nearly out of battery, I'm nearly out of storage space, it's nearly time to pick the kids up from school. So decks this month. So I've absolutely been loving this month, well in November, using my Tarot of the Crone, just plain black backs, no need for anything fancy on these because the power and the energy of this deck is off the scale. I've absolutely adored using it. I've had some amazing readings with this deck. It is one of my all-time favourites. Just so lucky to have this deck. I love it. I paired it with the unicorn deck that I bought, and I told you I've already told you I bought it when I was on my no buy, and that's the I Ching of the Goddess Oracle by Barbara Walker, the amazing Barbara Walker. This deck has been out all through November and it stayed out in December as well, and I'm loving it. I think the I Ching system for me, these hexagrams, they really speak to me, and I can kind of gauge it before I even read up about it. It's definitely a divination system that again I want to look into in 23. It's been on my radar for a while. Now I've got this deck, oh my goodness me, I've actually got 3 I Ching decks now, which will be brilliant for study. This card has been my stalker card through November. What a card to have as your stalker card. So here we have the 2 decks actually in readings that I pulled, and look at that Oracle Stalker card again, but look at it next to that card from the Crone deck. Oh my gosh, that made me cry, that juxtaposition. Also, it's really made me rethink this card as well, and this is another Stalker card that I got, which is just a lovely card to pull. So this is on my desk. This was the beginning of November, just working with the Tarot of the Crone. There's that Stalker card again, but look at all of the columns that are there in that card pull. It's a pairing where I am getting that synchronicity, repeating cards and just amazing imagery that works together. You can see repeating cards and just the way that it all works in a deck. I think I pulled that pairing twice this month. I just love it. And then the Russian doll symbolism, it just meant such a lot to me. And that Shadow of Cups, oh my gosh, it led me to start using jewellery with it as well, and charming jewellery. So I thought I'd do a quick side by side just to show you the 2 decks a little bit clearer. And I just think there's real magic in these 2. I really do. Like I said, there were synchronicities in repeating cards. The imagery beyond the tarot meaning also took on a world of its own. I mean, look at this pairing with the shrouded figure mirroring those mountains, and then with that sort of wave of trees with the wave in the other one, and then we've got hands in this, and then 2 hands on the statue. It was just time and time and time again I would see that sort of synchronicity that would add a whole another layer of meaning on top of tarot card meaning. I mean, look, you've got the arches in there and 2 figures and 2 torches. You can just spend a long time with this deck just chasing down the meanings of that synchronicity of image. Like I say, it's like a whole other layer on top of tarot meaning, and I loved this combination for that. I think it's a combination that you can really sit for a while and journal for a while over the cards that you're pulling, and look at it, it's just incredible. There's the crone that we were missing in the oracle card. Both are very dynamic, both very strong imagery. I think Barbara Walker's art style is brilliant next to the Tower of the Crone. So there's some really in your face images really in these, and I love them. Oh, look at those figures, the three figures on the right and then the one on the left. And look at that again, look, you've got the tears and the waterfalls. Just love it. I could go on and on, but I think you can see for yourself there is some real magic in this deck pairing, and so it's out again for December as well. I'm just loving it. So alongside the Barbara Walker, I've been working with my Deviant Moon. Everything I ever said bad about the Deviant Moon in the past, I take back totally. I am loving this deck. I think that might be my all-time favourite world card. I mean, look at the colours for a start in it. In fact, I had a reading with this world card and a card from the I Ching of the Goddess. I took a video and some pictures of the cards together. It just blew my mind, this reading. But this deck is just, oh, it's so lovely. All those people who said to me, no, get the Deviant Moon, you really will get over your aversion to the artwork. Look at that Ace of Wands. How could I have not loved the artwork? I mean, I get why I couldn't, because it looks a bit weird in places, but oh boy. In fact, that's another tarot book I want to put on my list to read for 23, because the lovely Nancy sent me the big art book and I've only flicked through it. I haven't read it. I really want to read that, so I'm going to put that on my list of books for next year. But I've loved this deck so much in November. Again, it's not been put away, it's still out on my tarot desk, working with it in December with the I Ching of the Goddess Oracle. The two decks together are stunning. So here are some actual videos I took of my readings. Look at that Knight of Cups as the bottom of the deck card. I just found the Knight of Cups really healing this month, I have to say, in this deck. But aren't they just lovely on the desk? Look, there are those two mermaid cards which blew my mind in this reading. They held so much meaning for me. And here's the Knight of Cups, which I often get triggered by, having been really wounded through the romantic people. But the Knight of Cups says the loyal knight, we've got the word loyal in there, the loyal knight presents his finds to the world, the gift of hope. His long search has taken him over and under a boundless sea. His once magnificent armour now bears a green patina. This journey has changed not only his body but his soul as well. Oh my gosh, that was such a healing card for me this month. So all through November really it was the same oracle, and just really loving getting to know the Deviant Moon and just savouring all the moments with it and all the synchronicities. Again, it's another combination of pairs where the Stalker cards like this one came out, which I loved. Oh my gosh, this card in Tower of the Crone made me absolutely bawl my eyes out. Yeah, magic and power within these two decks, and combining them, it was just, you know, it's like buckle up, here we go. Very clear with what it wanted to say. It wasn't presenting many alternatives of message. It was so clear, and the imagery really powerful, as you can see, and just lovely together. Again, the imagery kind of held its own language. Like, look at the spikes on those two cards. You could take that and just run with it. and like the Queen of Pentacles next to a woman holding her tummy with, oh my gosh, with Judgment, like new starts, new life. Just brilliant as a pairing, combining them. I have loved it. Like I say, I take everything bad back that I ever said about the Deviant Moon and being put off by the faces and the eyes, and yeah, when you get it in your hands, it just takes on a beauty that I don't think it translates through the screen. Yeah, it was just such a wonderful month using these two together as well. Look, there's my Stalker Gateway Oracle card there as well. But aren't they wonderful? A really fun, powerful combination. Also on my altar, there's been a few things going on. Some of them I don't really want to share, but I will share this deck. Now, this is the Making Magic deck by Priestess Moon. There is, of course, a newer version of this deck which is larger and the cards are circular, which I'm really interested in as well, just because of the circle shape. But currently I have this little version of it, and I've been pulling a card a week really, or possibly sometimes more than that at the altar. I'm just trying to take even like 1 minute every day just to light a quick candle or an incense stick to contemplate a card at the altar and just to say thank you to my deity. Otherwise my altar can be ignored for months on end. I am trying really hard to find a way just to stop and pause there. This deck has helped in November and I've loved it. And then with what I think might be my doll of the year so far, my very cheap, in the sale, £8 only, fashionista curvy Barbie with a love necklace on, all about self-love. She's been with me everywhere. I just love her so much. But she has also been sitting on my tarot desk where I do my readings to hold the, well, how cards. I've started pulling, okay, but how? When you get a message from a tarot reading and you just know what it's telling you to do, but how to step into action, but how? I've been pulling some dark angels for but how, because I'm sure the but hows are hiding in with my shadows because I can't seem to step into action. And my Barbie sits on my tarot altar really, holding the how cards, and I've had some pretty amazing moments with this. The but how cards are sitting out. I don't put them away until the end of the week, and they've been amazing. And I love this Dark Angels deck. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck by Luca Cuso, and it's dark and it's foreboding, and it tells you but how even when you're struggling, even in the depths of darkness, there is always a how. So those are the decks, and like I said, I've done no reading. I don't know where my reading head has disappeared to, but I've done no reading. But that's it. It was birthday month for me. I went from thinking nobody was bothered to feeling so loved and grateful. I realised that no buy for even 10 months has really stemmed my desire to bring new things into the house. I'm still and will be forever doll obsessed. The doll channel Tiny Soul Whispers has been so much fun. Currently I'm doing daily tarot readings over there for Dolls and Divination December, so if you're interested in hearing daily tarot readings but and can also stand the thought of dolls, head on over to Tiny Soul Whispers. It's been so much fun. I'm doing it with the opening of a Barbie advent calendar, so come on over for that. It'd be lovely to have you over there. And quickly, let me just fill you in on what's happening in the art studio. I had big plans for November in the art studio, but just like with the hedge collapsing, the roof started leaking in the art studio. I realised that all of the gutterings were overloaded with like foliage and stuff growing in them, so I spent a day up ladders trying to stop the conservatory from leaking. That was the day that I'd planned to do a whole day painting, but there's been a tiny bit done, as you can see or not see here. Oh, one last thing. Oh my gosh, I changed my perfume. So I use these Dream Spirit oils. They're ever so cheap. You can pick them up on Etsy. Oh, I think you can probably get them on Amazon as well. The first patchouli bottle of this I bought in Glastonbury and absolutely fell in love with it. This is actually my second bottle of patchouli, and it was all I was wearing for a couple of years. But I decided to throw a different oil in the mix, and I'm obsessed. And it is Dream Spirit again, but it's the Night Queen. And I ordered it because of the name, thinking I could put it on kind of as a mark for the Morrigan. And I'm obsessed with the smell of it. I love it. So I spoke earlier about senses of smell, and I'm ending on smells as well. So thanks guys so much for watching and joining me here. I hope your November was brilliant. I hope that this Advent season on the countdown to Yule or Christmas or whatever you call it, or Kwanzaa, I hope that you're loving it and not too stressed. Right, I better go and get kids from school now. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.